Hi folks, so the new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius is tomorrow morning around 8:18 a.m. That would be December the 14th Pacific time. And as those of you who watch my channel know, I'm going to do that video after the new moon solar eclipse that's going to occur. I'll do the video at some point tomorrow. But I wanted to, before we do that new moon solar eclipse, I've been thinking a lot about the astrology. I've taken a look at the 2021 transits. I wanted to do a quick summary of where we are at currently before we dive into details for videos that are coming up. And those, specifically a couple that I can think of right off the top of my head, of course, are the new moon solar eclipse video tomorrow. And then I also will likely do a video on Sun and Mercury coming together, being conjunct on December the 19th in Sagittarius. So, as those of you who've been following my channel know, that the second half of 2020, as I have mentioned very clearly, is about ending older energies that have been with us for a while, that are reaching some sort of culmination or completion or conclusion, and all those words are relevant. Culmination, completion, conclusion, depending on how you are feeling them, how you are perceiving them. If it's positive and if it's an offer, or if it's something that is, something is coming to culmination. If something is getting completed, it's completed. If something is being concluded, it may be that enough has been processed to decide to essentially move forward, put it aside, or get things to a place so that energetically we are not dealing so much with energies that have been in play, at least since December 2017, at least since July 2018, if not 2007, end 2017, December 2017. So if you were to say, Abi, aren't we always ending something and starting something? I would say no, not the way we have been doing so in the second half of 2020. And I'm very clear about that. And whether it is on a social and a political level, whether it is on a personal level, some of these energies have been brewing all year, 2020 being the year that it is. And it's not for every single client or every single person I talk to. It's not all bad news. There's enough dramatically crappy stuff that has happened in how can you not look at 2020 as a year of transition, and the second half of 2020 in particular? It's as if, whatever bird of choice is come back to roost in the second half of 2020 because of everything that has to be processed, learned, completed, finished. And then there's the introduction of the new set of energies, whether we look at it socially, politically, in whatever context, certainly, and this is the purpose of this particular channel, individually, for each of us, through the lens of astrology. When I talk about past energies that are looking to be resolved, I'm specifically talking about the eclipses that have been in play for us since the middle of July 2018 in the signs of Cancer and Capricorn, number one. Number two, Saturn's presence in the sign of Capricorn since December 2017, Jupiter's presence in the sign of Capricorn since November, December 2019, and a certain intensity of activity with the Mercury retrogrades in the water signs, in the signs of Cancer and in the signs of Pisces, and especially the signs of Scorpio. So if you were to say, okay, if we're looking at past energies, where do they coalesce? We're really looking at the signs of Cancer, Capricorn, Scorpio, and Pisces in that order. Although some would argue that it should be Capricorn, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Sorry, Capricorn, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Okay. If you know and are familiar with your chart and know which houses these signs occupy, you can look at them and get very clear on what is it in the sign of Cancer, what skills you have needed to develop, what you have needed to sort out, what you have needed to avail of, what you have needed to lean into. In the sign of Capricorn, what have you needed to process with regard to self-defeating patterns and behaviors that have been going on for a while but are no longer serving you? What have you needed to release in terms of these behaviors and patterns and perhaps attachments to an old way of being? And especially in 2022, what has finally ended and begun? depending on how you are feeling and dealing with the lessons that have been trying to be communicated to you since December 2017, you could feel the impact of Saturn in Capricorn positively or negatively. Positively, if you stuck to the disciplined, the straight and narrow, and negatively, with Saturn definitely is determined to teach us our lessons. If you did not pay attention to all the messages and all the information and the opportunities for a more disciplined, more structured, more, for lack of a different, better word, moral approach, thoughtful, responsive, as opposed to reactive approach to wherever it is that Capricorn sits in your chart. So the lessons and the results for that are being delivered to you, or the positive foundation building long-term benefits are being gifted to you as Saturn leaves this part of the chart. Jupiter also creating an ending and a new beginning in the Capricorn part of the chart. Wherever the sign of Scorpio sits, there has been a great deal of intensity with each Mercury retrograde. The Mercury retrogrades in late, this would be October, November 2018, and 2019 being more intense than the one in 2020, but the one in 2020 offering a conclusion. And because of the Mercury-Sun conjunction that happens when Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Scorpio, some of these scorpionic energies continue to be resolved through this Mercury cycle till February the 8th of 2021. And here is the primary message of this video, which is, interestingly, we've been looking at the end of 2020 as when it is that these handoffs happen, but mercifully, we actually are being given a little bit more time to complete the handoffs. I'm gonna come to that as I come to the summary at the end of this video. When we look at the new set of energies that we're being asked to lean into, no question, it is the eclipses changing signs to Gemini and Sagittarius, leaning into Gemini, releasing Sagittarius. Eclipse on June the 4th of this year, November the 30th of this year, and then one tomorrow, December the 14th. The one tomorrow being really bringing us completely into this new eclipse cycle. We've got new energies related to Mars being in Aries for 6 months in the second half of 2020, when it is typically in this part of the chart for about 45 days. And most importantly and significantly, we have on December the 15th, Saturn moving into Aquarius, December the 17th, Jupiter moving into Aquarius, and December the 21st, the so-called grand conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter in the sign of Aquarius. So I would say, if you were to say what's the order of importance, the eclipses are always the most important to me. So Gemini and Sagittarius, you can't ignore Saturn and Jupiter entering into Aquarius, though, as being really important in terms of forward movement, and Mars in Aries acting like a catalyst. The reason why the second half of 2020, as we've mentioned before, has been such a weird period of forward and backwards and feeling like we're moving forward, but then having this kind of pregnant pause of the static energy that doesn't seem to be going anywhere. But from the middle of November till the end of the third week of January, forward movement is because Mars was retrograde. So planet that was trying to usher in forward movement went retrograde. There was a Mercury retrograde. We had enough energies that were shifting with regard to what it is that we need to deal with and complete and finish up, and how we need to move forward. A lot of these energies, as I said, are uncomfortable because Saturn's presence, when Saturn gets ready to leave a sign, as Saturn is getting ready to leave Capricorn on December the 15th, there's very definitely a sense of a feeling of being graded for a set of exams. Did I get an F? And am I being handed my butt on a plate where Capricorn is in my chart, or am I getting an A+? And am I passing through this with flying colors into the sign of Aquarius? Now, technically, just the fact that Mars would be done with Aries by the end of first week of January, and Saturn and Jupiter would be moving on from Capricorn into Aquarius by by the middle of December, by December the 21st. Let's just use that date. And the fact that we have no more eclipses, we've already had a lunar eclipse in Gemini, would make us feel like all these old energies are done and behind us, except that we had a lunar eclipse, full moon lunar eclipse in Gemini on November 30th, the first of the Gemini eclipses. I've done videos on this. There are 2 videos on this. You can look at what that means for you. I'll put a link to at least one of them at the end of this one. We have a solar eclipse tomorrow. I'm going to talk more about that. But then the next full moon we have is in the sign of Cancer, the primary sign that we have had to deal with since the middle of July 2018. It's a normal full moon. And then we have, around December the 20th, 21st, Mercury moving into Capricorn, the Sun moving into Capricorn, then at the end of the first week of January, Venus moving into Capricorn, and Pluto's already in Capricorn, and we have a new moon in Capricorn in the middle of January. So even though it may feel like the heavy Capricorn energies are done behind us, the annual transits are not. And so in some senses, we may be feeling like, oh my God, I want to get this stuff done, and I'm still dealing with a certain amount of murkiness around tackling things that are past things that I want to put behind me. Those words of culmination and completion and conclusion is not done yet. Abby, we're at the end of the year. I'm not feeling complete, and I can feel the new set of energies want more of my attention. And it's an uncomfortable feeling. This is where the discomfort really sits right now. And it's okay to sit with it. It's okay to act on it, knowing that you're given a little bit more time till the end of the first week of February to finish up on the old stuff. The new stuff is increasingly making its presence felt and is going to be knocking on your door and is going to be here. It's already here. By the middle of December, it's really going to be here. You're already dealing with it. Mars is direct in Aries. We're getting the new eclipses. The planets are moving into Aquarius, and the Aquarius energy can be felt. And at the end of February, we'll have Mercury retrograde in February, so we're going to be gently moving into the new set of energies, forward, back, soon enough. Already, but soon enough. If you're feeling panic-stricken that older energies still need to be dealt with and for some reason don't feel entirely complete, you're right. That's the right feeling. The full moon lunar eclipse in Gemini was in Gemini, not in Cancer. You still have the month of December to finish up Cancerian tasks, because the next full moon on December the 30th is in the sign of Cancer. It's a powerful full moon. It's in the sign that the moon rules. And then, if you feel like the corresponding Capricornian energies are also not done, and there's still stuff and lessons that need to be incorporated, and gifts that need to be received, and things that need to be finished up, a bomb that needs to be placed on this highly energized, wounded axis of Cancer Capricorn, right? That bomb and that completion and conclusion can get placed in January, even till the middle of February, because the new moon on January 13th, 14th exercises its influence for about 4 weeks. Okay? So you do have time. Don't take care of it. Get done with it. When it comes to the scorpionic energy, keep in mind that we're done with the Mercury retrogrades in the sign of Scorpio. And we do, however, because whenever Mercury is retrograde and when it conjuncts the Sun when it's retrograde, it starts a new communication processing cycle. December the 19th, if there are scorpionic messages or messages really, more importantly, related to where Scorpio sits in the chart, that need to be completed, concluded, finished up, action that needs to be taken, do it by December the 19th. You will still, however, be dealing with this kind of communication cycle related to where Scorpio sits in your chart till February the 8th. Around January the 30th, Mercury goes retrograde in Aquarius. Sorry about the helicopter. January the 30th, Mercury goes retrograde in Aquarius, and February the 8th, it meets up with the Sun, concluding the old communication cycle in Scorpio and beginning the one in Aquarius. So you will be finishing things up related to where Scorpio sits till then. Keep in mind that the emphasis on these water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, It's placed a lot of stress on us emotionally over the last 2.5 years. And scorpionic energies, the first thing you need to pay attention to when I'm talking to these signs is what houses do they occupy? Okay, so older energies, 4 signs: Cancer, Capricorn, Scorpio, to a lesser extent Pisces, but present. The Pisces energy is really strong since 2016, but by now kind of mollified. New energies in order of importance, actually I'm going to say Aquarius, Gemini, Sagittarius, Aries. Okay? Where do these signs sit in your chart? What houses do they occupy? What do those houses stand for? Push and pull of old and new. Don't freak out if the old is not done. I'm summarizing. Finish it up. Finish it up. The Cancer stuff by the end of Scorpio stuff, you ideally push yourself to do it by December 19th. Cancer stuff, December 30th. Capricorn stuff, middle of February. Some of the Scorpio stuff, if it goes on till February the 8th, it will. Consequences of whatever it is that you're able to communicate by December the 19th, let it be, let it go. Look at the fact that some of this push-pull is actually a help and an aid. Avail of it. Finish up whatever needs to be finished up. Wrap up the gift of 2020 that has kept on giving. Be excited that there are newer energies that are at least pulling us forward, even if Saturn in Capricorn has given you an F on the exam that you've been taking in that part of the chart. Okay. For those people who do not know their charts, and for whom this video has been just like signs and houses and dates and what is he talking about, and old and new, okay. I'm most drawn right now to the sign of Scorpio, because I think it summarizes so well, you know, the nexus between relationships and finance and codependencies and intricate emotional entanglements in relationships. And again, the relationship between that and the finances we share with others. Marriage, divorce, doesn't have to be with a spouse or a partner. Can be friends, can be family members, can be, you know, somewhere these kind of scorpionic energies really summarize thematically, whether they've been through a lens of the sort of protection axis, self-protection versus protecting what you value, of the Cancer Capricorn feeling, whether it is whatever it is that needs to be let go of with the Pisces. Ultimately, these kind of scorpionic financial, emotional entanglements, deep, intense relationships, business partners, agents, managers, spouses, children, parents, siblings, relatives, friends, wherever, roommates, whoever you have financial entanglements with, contracts with, agreements with, whoever you are living with, whoever you are occupying a well with. It's a wrapping up of energies that have that kind of quality. And the newer energies are, you know, the sign of Aries and Gemini and Sagittarius and Aquarius, kind of lighter and more philosophical and more forward-thinking and more self-propelling and more independent. May even seem more constructive in some ways. More independent, that's the right word. So if that is how it feels, I wanted to do this kind of more sign-like summary too, because some folks watching this video may not have their charts with them, or may not know their charts, or may not know what signs occupying what houses and what those houses stand for. So if you fall in that category, since December 2017, especially middle of July 2018, and that middle of July 2018, you know, July 12th, week before, week after, a lot started then that is trying to reach conclusion. Whether it's reaching conclusion by December the 30th, or February the 8th, or February the 13th, 14th, that's where it's trying to head to conclusion. And so if it still feels like I'm not done, Abhi, the end of the year is here, the new energies are coming, don't panic, don't worry, it's the right feeling. But if you feel like it's reaching a conclusion and the pressure is building to conclude it, lean into the pressure and conclude it. We get a little bit more time, it's not that much more time. Okay, I really wanted to leave you with this before I do the video for the new moon solar eclipse tomorrow, because we then start to talk about sort of newer energies, and it's a separate video altogether, but one that needs this context. Also, yesterday, today, till this new moon occurs, in another, 14 hours or so, 15, 16 hours or so, if you really feel flat and like you can't get anything done, it's the time before a new moon and the tide is really pulled out and you're really out at sea and nothing is moving, and it's after the new moon that the wave will start to move towards the shore again. So if you feel like every time I sit down I want to take a nap, every time I hit my bed I want to take a nap, I know why I'm hitting my bed, I should be hitting my desk, just give yourself a bit of a break for another 16 odd hours. Let this new moon solar eclipse occur, and then the energy will return on some level. And one other thing that I want to mention is, of course, we are between eclipses, and the eclipse tomorrow, for about a week after, what situations are being eclipsed in and out of your life? Always worth thinking about. And as I've mentioned before, during eclipses, the veil between people living and dying really thins out. And so it's not unusual to see a higher frequency of mortality. So if you're dealing with themes related to this, news, information about illnesses or people passing away, I want to extend my condolences. And just, it's with eclipses, that kind of a reshuffle and feeling like things are somehow out of our control and God has taken the wheel and fated things are happening and we don't know when, we're kind of in the middle of that. So it very much has that feeling too. So I will leave it at that. If you found this video useful, feel free to share it far and wide, let your friends know about it, subscribe to my YouTube channel, click on the bell icon next to the subscribe button so that you're notified when I do new videos. My contact information is going to be in the description area. You can contact me about rates, either for readings or to inquire about what it would cost for me to create an easy-to-read version of your chart that will tell you which signs are in which houses, etc. So you can use that as a guide for these videos if you like. Okay, I will leave it at that till tomorrow, till I do my next video. Thanks, bye.